You have just started playing tennis, but the rules, the scoring and all those basics still feel confusing? Perfect! You have just found a video that explains it all. Part number 1. The court. First, let's talk about the battlefield, the tennis court. There are different surfaces, clay like at the Roland Garros, grass Wimbledon or the hard courts like the US Open. But no matter where you play, the court size stays exactly the same. Here's what you need to know. A net divides the court into the two halves, and everything in tennis happens around it. At the very back of each side there is a long line called the baseline. This is where the most rallies start from, and it's also where the players serve from. These narrow sidelines are used for singles, one player versus one player. So this is the singles area. These wider sidelines, also called the double alleys, are used for doubles matches, 2 versus 2. So this is the doubles area. And these two rectangular boxes near the net on each side, those are the service boxes, the targets you aim for when serving. Part number 2. How a tennis match starts. Every tennis point starts with a serve. But before that, how do we decide who gets to serve first? In pro tennis it's usually a coin toss. But casually you can just play rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3.
The winner of the toss gets to choose serve or receive. The loser chooses the side of the court they want to start on. Part number 3. How to serve properly. Now let's break down the serve. You always start serving from the deuce side. That's the right side of the court. Then after every point you switch his side, from the right to the left and back again, until the game is finished. Before serve you must stand behind the baseline. Your feet cannot touch or cross the line before hitting the ball. That's a foot fault. Even if the ball is perfect, it doesn't count if your foot touches the line. Where do you serve? Into the diagonal service box on your opponent's side. If during a serve the ball touches any part of the service box line, even just 1 millimeter, it's considering in. You have two chances to make a valid serve. If your first serve hits the net or lands out, I mean out of service box, it's a fault. But no worries, you get a second try. But if your second serve hits the net or lands outside the diagonal service box, you lose the point. Now, here is the one exception, the lead rule. If your serve hits the net but still lands in the correct service box, it's called a lead, and you get to repeat the serve. It doesn't matter if it was first or second serve, you just do it again. In fact, if you hit 10 leads in a row, you can serve 10 times, as long as it keeps hitting the net and landing in. But if the serve hits the net and goes out, that's just a regular fault. So remember, net plus in, try again. Net plus out, fault. Alright, so your serve is in. What now? How do you actually win a point? The answer is super simple. You just need to get the ball over the net one more time than your opponent and make sure it lands inside the court. You don't need to hit hard, you don't need to have a perfect technique. But there are the rules that matter. Number 1. The ball must land inside the court. If the ball goes beyond the baseline or outside the sideline, it's out and you lose the point. But if the ball touches the line, even by just 1 millimeter, it's still in. Number 2. The ball must go over the net. It doesn't matter if it's 5 centimeters or 3 meters above. But if you hit the ball into the net and it doesn't cross, you lose the point. Number 3. If the ball bounces twice on your opponent's side, you win. That's called a winner. Clean shot, the ball bounces twice before your opponent can hit it and the point goes to you. Optional, volley play. You are also allowed to hit the ball before it bounces on your side. This is called a volley. You often see this when players run to the net. There is even a strategy called serve and volley, which was super popular in the 90s. It is not easiest way to start if you are new, but hey, tennis just be fun. So if you want to try it, just go for it. So, to sum it up, here are 3 main ways to win a point. Your opponent hits the ball out, beyond the lines. Your opponent hits the ball into the net. If your shot lands in and the ball bounces twice before your opponent can get to it. That's called a winner. Part number 4. Tennis scoring. Alright, now comes the fun part. Scoring. In most sports like football, hockey or basketball, the team with more goals or points simply wins. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoever scores more wins. Simple as that, right? But in tennis, the scoring works a little differently. For example, in the 2019 Wimbledon final, Federer won more points than Djokovic and still lost. By the way, for me, that was the most painful moment in tennis history. If you are still emotionally scared from that match like I am, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let's cry about it together. Okay, back to the scoring. How does it work? A single game goes like this: love, 15, 30, 40, game. But wait, why not 45? One theory says the tennis scoring came from a clock. 15 minutes, 30, 45, 60. But 45 became 40 over time. Why? Easier to say during matches. And why not 0 but love? 0 points is called love. It comes from French love, the egg, because 0 looks like an egg. Also, people like to believe that even if you are losing, you still have love for the game. A nice way to feel better when you are down love 40, right? But what if the score is 40-40? That's called a deuce. At deuce, both players are tied, so the game isn't over yet. You have to win 2 points in a row to win the game. The first point after deuce is called advantage. If you win the next point too, you win the game. When it's deuce, you serve from the right side. I won this point, so it's advantage me. For advantage, you serve from the left side. And if I win this rally, I win the game. But if you have advantage and you lose the next point, the score goes back to deuce. And it continues until someone finally wins 2 points in a row. So from deuce it's a mental battle. How do you win a tennis match? Alright, so now we know how to win a single game. But how do you actually win the whole match? Most of the time, about 90% of all matches, tennis is played in a best of 3 sets format. That means you need to win 2 sets to win the match. In men's Grand Slams it's a best of 5 sets, but we will stick to the standard version here. How do you win a set? To win one set you need to win at least 6 games, but it's not always that simple. If you win 6-0, 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, congrats! But what if the score is 5-5? Then one player must win 2 games in a row to take the set. If you go up to 6-5, that's not enough. You need to take it 7-5 to win the set without a tiebreak. If you are up 6-5 but lose the next game, the score became 6-6. When both players reach 6-6, the set goes into a tiebreak, which has its own rules. In the tiebreak we don't use 15, 30, 40 scoring. We count normal points: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first player to reach 7 points with at least a 2-point lead wins the tiebreak and the set. You could win a tiebreak 7-5, 10-8, even 24-22. It really happens. And guess who played this match? Yeah, John Isner again. Once you win a tiebreak, you win the set 7-6. Serve rotation in a tiebreak. You start by serving 1 point from the deuce side, that's the right side. Then your opponent serves the next 2 points. First from the advantage side, left, then from the deuce side, right. After that you serve 2, opponent serve 2, and so on. Remember, 1 serve, then 2, 2, 2, 2, until the tiebreak is over. Also, players switch ends on the court after every 6 points total, no matter the score. For example, at 3-3, 4-2 or 6-6, you change the sides. This keeps the playing condition fair, especially in the sunny or windy weather. Here is an example of a tiebreak. You need to win at least 7 points. Example match breakdown. Let's say you win the first set in the tiebreak, 7-6. Then you win the second set, 6-4. That means you have won 2 sets and the match is yours. Time to celebrate. But what if it's 1-1 in sets? Then you go into the deciding third set. Let's say you crushed it and win 6-3. Your final score is 7-6, 4-6, 6-3. Match won. If you don't have time to play a full third set, you can play a super tiebreak instead. It follows the same rules as a regular tiebreak, but instead of playing to 7, you play to 10 points. Bonus tip: let's talk about switching sides during a set. You switch sides after the first game and then after every 2 games. For example, after 1-0 you switch, then again at 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 and so on. This rotation helps keep the match fair, especially if the sun or wind is affecting one side more than the other. Just remember, after the very first game, then every 2 games after that. Easy. And now quick recap. 1 game, first to win 4 points. If it's 40-40, that's called a deuce. If you win following point, you have advantage. 1 more point and game is yours. 1 set, first to win 6 games, margin needs to be at least 2. If it's 6-6, we play a tiebreak. A match, you need to win 2 sets. And I truly believe you are now ready to step into the world of tennis. I hope everything was clear, but if you still have any questions, feel free to drop them into the comments below. And if it all made sense, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more tennis tips. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.